More on President Trump's post on social media announcing he was pardoning Tina Peters. Now, Peters was convicted of election fraud and identity theft after the 2020 presidential election. Joining us live now is reporter Spence Breed. Spence, you're breaking down the possibilities of Peters actually getting out of prison.
Yeah, Vaughn, tonight we're hearing from Peters' attorney and District Attorney Dan Rubenstein about her bid for freedom.
We look at this thing and we see Tina Peters as being a kind of a hostage. We see her as being a political prisoner.
On Thursday, President Trump posted on social media saying Tina Peters is, quote, sitting in a Colorado prison for the crime of demanding honest elections. In that same post, he says he's granting Peters a full pardon.
Why in the world would the president not be able to pardon for state offenses, especially in a situation such as this, where you've got someone who's charged with offenses because of a federal election?
According to constitution.congress.gov, the president's pardoning power may only be granted to offenses against the United States, meaning criminal offenses at the state level aren't covered, something that Mesa County District Attorney Dan Rubenstein agrees with.
That's a symbolic gesture. He's the president of the United States, which means he has the authority as the top executive official to pardon federal crimes, but only Governor Polis has the authority, or only the governor has the authority to pardon state crimes.
However, Peters' attorney, Peter Tickton, has a different interpretation.
When the drafters, when our founders decided that the president would have power to pardon, they basically were giving him the power to pardon in all of the United States.
But no matter what happens with President Trump's pardon, Tickton says he thinks this could end up at the federal level.
It's a process to get there. But I do see that the U.S. Supreme Court would take this as something very important. When we get really legitimate questions like this that deal with the interpretation of the U.S. Constitution, that's definitely for the Supreme Court.
Now, Peters' attorney says he spoke with her last night, and he says she was overwhelmed with gratitude. For the 10, I'm Spence Breed.
All right, thank you, Spence. And as a refresher, back in October of last year, Peters was sentenced to serve 9 years in connection to a breach of election equipment. She was charged with 3 counts of attempting to influence a public servant, conspiracy to commit a criminal impersonation, and other charges. Well, the man